time for more of the Poetry Interpretation Kit. Part 4. A sonnet is one of the more famous traditional forms in English poetry. It is 14 lines, give or take. Traditionally it's 14 lines, but people play with that some. I'm working on a series of poems called fat sonnets, and so some of them are just about being fat, and some of them are fat sonnets so that they're more than 14 lines. But the traditional form is 14 lines, rhymed in different ways, iambic pentameter. They're broken into what's called an octave, 8 lines, and a sestet, 6 lines. You know that To Autumn is not a sonnet because it has 11 lines and not 14. It is possible that a poet might write an 11-line poem and say, yeah, that's a sonnet. And we might decide to agree if it had enough other characteristics or if the poet made a convincing case. But Keats was still writing pretty traditionally, and he has a lot of sonnets. So the fact that there are 3 stanzas and there are 11 lines each, he would not have called this a sonnet. Then let's talk about that line as a unit. There are 2 phrases that you should know. In-stopped means there's a natural pause and possibly punctuation at the end of the line. Enjammed means the sense of the sentence, the rhythm of it, continues to the next line. My friend Robert Wrigley is a fantastic poet, and he says that that tension between a sentence, which might continue, and a line, which might stop, is the thing, the one thing that poets have that other genres don't. Because fiction, creative nonfiction, drama, all those things can have rhythm and language that's very descriptive and sound devices, but other genres don't break things into lines. So it's an interesting assertion. Let's look at the line as a unit with Mr. Keats. And sometimes like a gleaner, thou dost keep. That is what we call an enjammed line. Because if we were reading it like a paragraph, we'd say, and sometimes like a gleaner, thou dost keep steady thy laden head across a brook. So we wouldn't, in a paragraph, pause there, but because Keats made that the end of the line, our brains pause, even if verbally we don't pause after keep. I think what he's up to here is that it makes it seem a little bit precarious, that keep steady. And so we feel precarious at the end of that line, and then we land a little heavier on steady. So we actually steady ourselves with the word steady. That's my theory anyway. So we have the tension between the sentence and where the sentence keeps going and the line doesn't necessarily. These other lines here, brook and look, those are what we would call in-stopped. Let's go to part 5.